Hello everyone, Cosmic Dog here and welcome to another Division 2 video. So in today's video I'm going to walk you through how to complete the third boss in the Iron Horse raid. Okay, so if you like the video, please hit that like button and feel free to subscribe and you'll get an eye out for any future videos that I happen to release. So without any further ado, let's quickly have a look at the build that I use for this mission in particular, and it's mainly focused on a hazard protection, but we'll have a look at it. So in terms of the weapons, I'm using the marksman rifle, and those of you that have spotted it already on the backpack, I've got opportunistic, so I do need a marksman rifle available for that, and the commando, which has got the talent of perfectly naked, is ideal for that situation. The second gun doesn't really need to be anything specific. I do like this gun because it's perfectly nearsighted and 100% stability is ideal. In terms of the mask, it's always good to have at least two, I would say, Coyotes masks in your group for obvious reasons because of the additional damage it will help you do. The backpack is opportunistic, so really that's a perfect talent, particularly when you're shooting the final boss, because what that then does is gives everybody 10% increased damage, amplifies it by 10% for 5 seconds every time that I'm shooting that final boss. The chest piece, to give me that little bit extra handling, has got braced on there, and really the rest of it's just rolled into as much damage I could get into that chest piece as possible. I'm also rolling a 3-piece Eclipse Protocol for the hazard protection, so 30% additional hazard protection that you get there, and I've also rolled 10% into it. The knee pads, I've rolled 12% critical hit damage just to give me that little bit more DPS to control the ads and do a bit more damage to the boss. And then finally the holster's got that 10% additional hazard protection on there as well. So all in all, I'm actually running with about 70% hazard protection on this build. I used to have 106%, but I was doing no DPS, so I dropped that down, sacrificed a little bit of that so that I could do a little bit more damage to the boss at the end and the ads that are rolling around in the map. So that gives you an idea of what the build is. So let's go ahead and I'll walk you through how to actually complete the mission. So at this point we've activated our first panel, and that lets us just activate the boss and bring him into the mission. So up we head for the first phase. So we can see that of course we've got some electricity on the floor, so you do get shocked a little bit by that because I've got only 70% hazard protection. I'm throwing out a decoy, and that's a particular reason for that because we do get snipers up on the top level, so that really does help with that. Now, a quick tip: if you get back to that panel as quickly as possible and hold the button down and it's a fire phase, you can skip the valves entirely on the fire phase. If you're holding the button down before the fire comes, then your colleague can just hit the button at the panel on the fire section and you completely skip the valve section on that part. That saves you a lot of time. So you can see that the fire's up top here, but I've got 100% fire resistance because of my specialization. So we're on to the next phase now, so we're heading back up, we're interacting with the panel. I'm looking around for snipers and I'm calling them out to my teammates, and as you can see, they're taking care of the snipers for me with a good job. So we're on yellow phase at this point. So you're looking for those electricity boxes that are sparking. There's 3 of them. You need to find them as quickly as possible. There could well be some on the top level where I am, so one of my teammates always comes up and checks that for me because I need to hold that button down the entire time to ensure that the the boxes can be interacted with and switched off. So there's 3 to find, and when the boss comes out, you know that you've found them, and then you need to head back downstairs, jump into the heals, tiny bit of damage on the boss to, activate the opportunistic talent, clear out any ads as much as you can, and then get yourself back upstairs as quickly as possible for the next phase. So at this point you're looking for the next chain, and you head over, try and avoid the ads as much as possible. You don't want to get yourself killed at this point. Head back upstairs and go back to interact with the box itself. So once you're at the box, you're interacting again, and we're on to the next phase of the mission. So it's a blue phase. So, and one of my colleagues needs to come upstairs and jump down 1 level to start interacting with the valves for the pressure. I'm clearing out any of the snipers as much as I can. That is really helping this change in the build that I've made, so I've got a little bit more DPS, so I can actually help get those snipers away as quickly as possible. And while my colleague's down there turning the pressure valves, I'm holding the button down for them so that once they've got the 3 valves, my colleague can then at the computer hit the blue button and bring out the boss himself. So the boss is out, so I can drop down now back to the ground level, try and get in to get some heals, because those drops do hurt you a little bit, and of course any sort of fire or electricity or pressure, that does impact your health. So if you can get back down, get more heals, head back up. There's usually 3 phases to this mission: 1 fire phase, 1 pressure phase, and 1 electricity phase. So I'm heading back up for the final phase of that part of the mission. And we're done on that one. So we're heading downstairs now. This is what we call the Pac-Man phase. Okay, so I'm heading over to these valves, and you'll see that my colleague Death Machine is down there, because when I turn these valves, the little Pac-Man needs to line up with the circle down where the actual lava vent is. And once it's lined up, he gives me the nod to say stop, and then I'll stop, and you'll hear the clunk. And once you hear that clunk, you know you're in position, and you move on to the next one. You're going to do this 3 times. And each time, once you've done the 2, that's 1 set complete. Now, one tip for you: to avoid the boss coming out 3 times at this point, don't shoot both dots after you've clicked them or locked them both in. Only shoot 1 dot. Okay, so you're going to leave 1 dot open on each of the 3 sets, and there's a particular reason for that, and that's again to avoid the boss coming out 3 times. So what that then does is lets the rest of the team just focus on the ads as much as possible, protect, in this case, my colleague Death Machine, who's keeping an eye on the Pac-Man as I'm rotating it to moves into position. And then as we come round to the 3rd set, I'm letting everyone know at this point, okay guys, we're on the final set. Everybody moves round as a group, as you can see. They're all in the heels, they're shooting the ads as much as possible. I'm turning the lever, and my colleague Death Machine is letting me know when to stop. So this is the final one now, and as we hit the final one, the rest of the team will activate the boss by shooting the 3 dots that I've left over. So the 1 here and the other 2 dots that are left behind. So at this point, this will activate the boss, and the boss will come out. So I'm heading back upstairs at this stage, because it's not quite done yet. So I'm heading back up, and we look for the any ad control that I can help with, get the boss away as quickly as possible. Now while we're up there, we have 2 or 3 guys in the team who are shooting the lava grates to pour the lava out. And you'll hear it. It's very clear that when that lava's done, because you'll hear the gushing sound of the lava coming out, all the steam's there, and it just pours out that red hot lava. And once you've done that phase, once you've got those gates broken open and the lava pouring out, it's on to the letter stage, which you can see right here. So I'm telling my colleagues downstairs who are turning the valves at the bottom what they need to do. So in that case, it's B for Bravo up and D for Delta down. You just let the screen tell you what you need to happen, and you need to relay that information to the guys downstairs. So in this case, it's E for Echo up. I interact with the button to get to the next screen, and this time we need J for Juliet down. I throw a decoy down to make sure that no ads are shooting me while I'm doing this, and then finally we need L down as well. So once that one's done, onto the final screen. Now as we get to the final screen, I'm about to tell everyone in the team, apart from our tank, who's proccing the boss, to head upstairs. So once we're finished with this screen here, so that would be M down, O up and P up, and once that is done, everybody needs to come on upstairs to my level, so interacting with the chain, and come on upstairs. Now there might be the occasion where it doesn't actually work. That's because possibly one has been missed, and in this case you can see it as G on this case needed to be put up, and it was actually put down. So we got that fixed pretty quick, and now it's on to making sure that we get the boss cleared through as much as possible. So we need to get him off these turrets. He interacts with 2 of them, so we need to get him off those as quickly as possible. So we're shooting the weak point at the bottom of the turret to get him off there as fast as we can. So you can see that we're pretty much done with the first one there, and he'll be moving over to the next one. And once he's finished with that next one, that's when the main boss damage will happen. So you can see here that everybody's pretty much upstairs. We've got 1 guy still downstairs. That's our tank build. His main job is just to keep the boss out in the open, because if he's not out in the open and he's hidden down below somewhere, you can't get a shot on him. The team can't get to him. So we use the tank and we use decoys to keep the boss to the outside of the map so that we can see him. We keep him visible as much as possible, and we can keep that damage on top of him and on top of his backpack, because that's the key thing, is making sure that he doesn't reheal himself with a backpack. Now I'm moving round just to try and keep a bit more ad suppression here. I'm throwing my decoy down whenever it's needed. We just communicate really well, the team. We just say to each other what we need to happen. I've got a decoy, and anyone else that's running DPS has got a decoy as well. So we only need to throw one down at a time. And as you can see, this keeps the boss out in the open, so we can continually do that damage. And you can see that the opportunistic talent that I've got in my backpack is proccing there as I'm hitting the boss. So the braced talent is not in effect yet because I'm going to have to be in cover for it, but again, it's a fairly solid build that I've got, and I'm able to hit the boss from quite far away. So you can see we're doing quite a lot of damage to the boss. Now at this stage, as I can see the boss's health is about to deplete, I start to head down because it's my job to head down and collect the key from him when I get him down. So I'm keeping a close eye on the boss, I'm focusing on the damage, I'm throwing down the decoy just to keep him where he is. And we're almost done with that boss. You can see there's still some ads kicking about, but we're really focusing on the boss here, and we're about to get him down. So that's my cue to head on down. Now the mission is not over yet. You might think it is, but it certainly is not. You need to get down there and collect that master key and head straight back upstairs. Now don't get confused at this point. Pick up the key and look left and right. Find your nearest chain. Get straight back upstairs. You need 3 colleagues to head to the red, yellow and blue computer, and you need to interact with the last one that's on this top level here that you'll see in a second. Now you do have a good 4 or 5 second window, so I'm making sure that everyone's in position on red, yellow and blue, and then we all press the button and the mission is effectively over once we've cleared off the rest of the ads. So it's not too complicated as long as you just take your time, focus on what you need to do, have specific roles for everyone, and really that is it. Just communication is absolutely key, and just ensuring that everybody knows what their job is. If you're DPS, you're clearing ads, you're moving around as a group, and you're staying in the heal circle. The healer stays with the group, keeps everyone alive. The tank is there to keep an eye on the boss and keep him focused. And that's basically it, folks. So that's the end of the video, so feel free to comment, and until next time, that's Cosmic out.